Sometimes we can make ourselves unwell in many aspects of the word, unwell. When we choose, regardless of what the reason is behind our choosing, to hold on to something rather than express it. A lot of physical manifestations come as a result of not dealing with something, not facing something, not talking about something. So the question today on the mat is, what are you holding on to that needs to actually be expressed? I invite you to give thought to the thing that is in the background of your mind that you keep pushing down. A conversation perhaps that is hard to have, that you need to have with someone. And maybe you're not having it because you fear the outcome. You do not want to upset someone, or maybe you don't want to lose something. You feel like, well, if I say this, what if they leave me? If I say this, what if they don't speak to me again? If I say this, what if? What if you don't say it and then you suffer as a result of not saying it? What if you don't say it and you end up abandoning yourself and who you are and what means and matters the most to you? So rather than us living in the what if, how about we live in the reality of what is? And if in the reality of what is, there's something you need to say, how might you find a path to say it? If in the reality of what is, there's something that's knocking at your door that needs to be turned toward, what if you turn toward it and faced the hard thing? What's the worst thing that could happen? Maybe the person or people or places and things disappear. It's quite possible that the very thing you fear, someone leaving, the end, whatever that thing is, it's quite possible it'll happen. It's a possibility, right? But regardless, your truth is your truth. Whatever needs to be addressed needs to be addressed. Whatever needs to be said needs to be said. So by not saying it, by holding on to it, you're living in a great compromise. You're abandoning yourself. The very thing you don't want the other person to do to you, you're actually doing it to yourself. Because you're prioritizing their feelings over your truth. Even as within yourself, your truth is rising and bubbling to the surface, and you just, oh, no, I don't want to upset the apple cart. Sometimes we have to upset the apple cart. And not because we seek conflict, not because we want to upset the apple cart, but because something needs to be said. And that's not showing up in us for no reason. Something needs to be said. So I invite you to give thought to what you might be holding on to that needs to be addressed. And what is the great angst in you that's causing you to not address it? Because when we live our lives from a place of fear, we already know we're out of alignment somewhere. Because fear, yes, it's a normal, natural emotion or feeling, right? It shows up when it needs to show up, but it also shows up when it doesn't need to show up. There are many instances where we do not need to be protected, but we're still operating from a place of fear, as if we are in danger. And when we do not choose to move through that fear, we send messages to our bodies that basically says, yes, you're right. This is dangerous, when in fact it isn't. There is no danger. There's the inner conditioning. There's the perhaps reality that we weren't raised around people who modeled addressing things. Perhaps we're surrounded by people who say, oh, it's not a big deal. Just deal with it. And we start to believe what they're saying, their thoughts and opinions over our truth. All of those things are quite possible. And at the end of the day, you deserve to be able to look at what's true for you, face that truth, honor that truth, and take a step forward in the direction of saying the thing that needs to be said. Why? One, because you want to honor yourself. And two, it creates a path forward, either a path forward together, because we can grow together, we can do hard things together, or it creates a path forward differently. And that different path that you may have to embark upon, as scary as it may be, will ultimately lead you more closer to the truth within and align others on that same path and vibration where you look back and go, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I followed my truth. Look at me now. But there's something about the unknown. We tend to not believe that good rests in the unknown. We're like, oh, well, I kind of know what I'm dealing with now. I don't know what's going to come. Yeah, but the thing that you're dealing with now, you don't really enjoy it. It's not true for you because, we don't have to enjoy all things. Life is not, we're not meant to just be hedonists in life, right? So we're not going to enjoy all things. But where you are now isn't aligned with your truth. Every day you wake up in a compromise, and yet you won't speak, address, confront that compromise. So even though you know this and it's familiar, it's a familiar discomfort, and you don't know the unknown, well, the unknown is vast and wide. Infinite possibilities rest in the unknown. And great limitations rest in the known that you're in. So we have to remember, even though we can't see beyond, that there is in fact a beyond. And regardless of the future that is not yet, let's not even think that far. Let's just be in the seat of now. Is right now aligned and true? Yes or no? And if it's a yes, carry on. Then there's nothing you're holding on to. Then you're free. If it's a no, pause and just be in the know of that and peel it back. What's no about it? Well, there's this. I'm not seen. There's no affection. We don't talk. Our values are different. I feel alone in this dynamic. There's no relating in this relationship. What's behind the no? Because then when you itemize that and you kind of go, if I don't address this, if I don't look at this and see it clearly, this is the rest of my life. I'll be living in the no's. Now I can address it and some of the no's change. We can work through this list. Or I could address it and the other person completely dismiss me. Well, then I can move toward the yes of my life by leaving the no's behind. We have choices. A lot of people feel like, oh, well, that's going to be frowned upon. So then you're living your life, the one life you get, inside the view of others. So how they view you is more important than you living your life fully and well. Well, then there's nothing to complain about if we're not going to be in the movement of change, which leads us to our higher selves and well-being. Now, I'm not saying all of this to be disregarding or diminishing. It's to shine a light, right? Because we all have something that we're moving through or have moved through. And sometimes we need permission to face the hard thing. And this moment is permission. Face the hard thing. Otherwise, you lose. You risk losing, be it a physical manifestation where your body starts to break down and you feel dis-ease within yourself, or a mental and emotional discomfort and breakdown. Because we abandon ourselves when we're not honoring ourselves. We may want the external world to change so that we can go, okay, I'm so glad you changed. Now we can have something different. But in the same way you want them to change, turn that around and ask yourself, well, am I willing to change? Because we're only responsible for ourselves. We can only change ourselves. The external, that's a personal thing for the external to change for themselves. And we have to remember that. We often think it's the other. Well, if they would just do this, then it'll be better. Okay, but they're not. So what are you going to do? Think about that. So if neither one is willing to change, then the one who's unhappy with how it is the one who suffers. So today on the mat, I want to invite us to think deeply and to pause inside of that thinking about what we might be holding on to that needs to be addressed in order to free us to live our lives fully and well, and to ensure that we're not abandoning who we are. May we not abandon who we are.